9 years old. I was young, but we knew Daddy was there. We knew Uncle Bob was in the Philippines. We didn't know where. It was secret, and we knew Daddy was over there somewhere. We didn't know where. They wouldn't tell us. We had two stars in the window because that's every family who had people, servicemen who were serving abroad. You had stars, and we had two stars because Daddy and Uncle Bob, his brother, were both serving. Bob was in the Philippines, in the Pacific. Daddy was in Europe. They were both older. My daddy's brother was a physician, so he wasn't on the front lines like Daddy was. He wasn't in the battle, but he was there taking care of people that they brought back who were wounded. But we didn't know exactly where they were. But I was in Big Mama's lap, and the one thing you did not want to see was Western Union.
How old were you?
I was maybe 8 or 9. You did not want to see Western Union coming to your door.
Because it was never good news.
Mother worked on the night shift at the post office in Dallas. She was working. Aunt Beulah and Aunt Vera, Aunt Ruth were all at choir practice at South Dallas Christian Church, where we still went. And they drove in the driveway on Hampton Road, right behind the Western Union truck. So they all arrived at the front door at the same time. The women cried.
Oh.
Well, they knew. It either meant missing in action, dead, or wounded. It meant something. It was bad news. There was no good news with Western Union. So they asked for Mother. So we knew it was Daddy. Yeah, we knew it wasn't Bob. We knew it was Daddy. Everybody was crying. I was crying. Big Mama was crying. The sisters were crying. They had to go downtown Dallas to the post office to deliver this to Mother, because nobody could open it. We didn't know if he was alive or dead, wounded, missing. We didn't know.
So they came to tell you, but they wouldn't tell you what the news was.
Because they had to deliver it to Mother.
Oh, because she was working.
She was working on the night shift downtown.
Oh, gosh.
So it was wounded in action. And that's all we knew.
Well, that's got to be the best news that...
Yes, it wasn't missing. It wasn't dead. It was wounded. We didn't know if he would survive the wound. We didn't know where he was. Well, let me tell you, I'll never forget that night as long as I live. I wasn't very old, but it was traumatic. Anyway, of course, as time went on, Mother got more news, more information. He was in a field hospital. I'm not for sure how long he was in the field hospital, but the wound was so severe they moved him to Paris. And this was after the Allies had taken Paris. The Allies had Paris back by that time. And so he spent a year in a hospital in Paris. And one of the incidents, Sean, that happened, that Daddy told me about, 2 things he told me when I took him for treatment in Lawrence, Kansas, to the psychiatric facility there. When you were we lived here, you were maybe 6 or 7. They came through and I took Daddy to a facility in Lawrence, Kansas, for treatment.
And they PTSD.
I'm guessing. They did LSD.
Interesting.
They gave him LSD. And they treated him with LSD.
What was his opinion of the treatment?
Well, it was wonderful. It was wonderful. He said,
telling Clarice just last night about my LSD trips and how much I laughed. I just laughed.
I never knew you had LSD.
Surprise.
Fuck. God, they did things I don't know about. Anyway, he told me these two stories. One story, oh shit, I remember one. I forgot the one I was mainly going to tell you.
You'll think of it.
The one story was he was on guard duty one night, and they had some German prisoners, and they were on the front. They weren't back at the back. They were on the front, and they couldn't stay awake.
The guards.
He and another guy. They were freezing. They were cold. They couldn't stay awake, and they killed the prisoners.
Oh.
Because they couldn't risk falling asleep.
That's right. And he sobbed when he told me this.
Wow.
He sobbed.
Oh.
He said, "It makes me cry."
Wow.
He was never the same. He just sobbed when he told me that story. War it's hell. It's just hell.